All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new movie review. I just finished up Rebel Moon, the Director's Cut, Chapter 2, which again is directed by Zack Snyder and is streaming exclusively on Netflix, which is the extended version of Part 2 of Rebel Moon. Wow. I have got to say that this is peak movie, epic blockbuster. I really enjoyed the first cut of the film, but this one actually takes it to a whole new level. I actually really enjoyed Part 2 a lot more than I did Chapter 1. Not to say that a lot of the extra stuff in this one, was 100% needed, but it did help flesh out the story and really made you feel for these characters, and it was much more emotional than the original story was. And the ending had a lot more to it. First of all, what I want to discuss, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you want to skip this part, but it was very interesting when Cora was on the ship at the end, and she went to the basically where she had to put the charges on that statue thing that was giving the ship power. Well, she had a moment with that creature, and you could see inside, and you were able to see that this is a living being. They don't explain much about it other than saying basically that this empire has enslaved a bunch of her people, and that by Cora killing her, she knew it had to be done, but it was going to awaken her sisters. Very interesting stuff. We didn't get any of that in the original cut. So there's definitely a lot more to this story, stuff we don't know about, and there's definitely some rich storytelling left to be told. Jimmy, oh my gosh, let's talk about Jimmy. Jimmy was a Batman-Superman, basically a hybrid in this show. Most of the time he was behaving as Batman, but in this one he definitely had some Superman moments. And holy crap, was it amazing. I'm eager to see the future and see what Jimmy is going to hold. I really hope that we do get Chapter 3 on Netflix. I hope they do make the third, fourth, and even fifth film. This universe, these two movies put together, have created a much needed. It's filled in a blank for people who were Star Wars fans that are looking for good Star Wars content. We grew up with Star Wars. We're now adults. We want more adult-oriented war films set in the stars, and this definitely fills that void. I feel sorry for people who don't enjoy this or didn't get much out of it, because there is quite a bit of story in there, and there's quite a bit left to be told. And I'm sorry for the people who see this just on the surface. I think the effects were amazing. There were definitely some different takes on stuff. I mean, when Cora was in the ship at the end, she had some headshots with her gun that were just epic. And especially the end with Noble, oh my gosh. Quite different. And if you look at that, there's definitely android in his body. It's very interesting. So he's kind of like an android hybrid human. So there's definitely more story to be told on how he was able to be who he is, how he was able to be healed, the creatures that are powering the ships, and apparently there's more of them. It would be very good to see the rest of the story. I want to hear more about this universe. I'm definitely going to be checking out the podcast that talks about the first Jimmy. I know that is available. I will be checking that out. When I have a chance to listen to it, I will definitely do a review on that. But man alive, this impressed me more than I expected, especially this second half. There was definitely more. The first half is definitely more story-driven and really fleshes out the characters. But the second one is the retribution that this town needed, and it was pretty interesting. This is more of a more personal type story in the fact that it's about these villagers, but there's definitely more definitely to be told. There's a whole scene at the end that was not in the original that has Belisarius in it, and with him and his people, and he definitely, there's definitely more story to be told, let's put it that way. And so I'm looking forward. The way they did this, I don't think Netflix would have released this or gone in this direction if they didn't have plans on doing more, because while the original version, the PG-13 versions, definitely hinted at more story to be told, this one really pushes those buttons even more. And so I am very much looking forward to whatever they come up with here in the future. All right, guys, so at the end of the day, let's talk about stars on Rebel Moon, the Director's Cut, Chapter 2. I give this 5 out of 5 stars, and I don't give 5 stars to movies very often. Now, this one did have a little bit of nudity in it. You definitely have another love scene with Cora, but you can definitely see how more passionate she is in that scene with Gunnar than she was with the original guy. And there was one other little nudity scene that wasn't necessary, but it was kind of thrown in there. Luckily, it's only for a few seconds. So outside of that, this one was definitely more enjoyable than the first. So I do give this 5 out of 5 stars. All right, guys. So what did you think if you've seen the second part? I do appreciate all the support. We will see you on the next review.